In the internal arts, and particularly in Tai Ji Quan, we often speak about Peng, Lü, Ji, An, four fundamental energies. These four energies are also present in other Chinese systems that use different names to describe them. It's interesting to see how these four energies are mistakenly treated as techniques. In some cases, they are even associated with movements or choreography. But in fact, the four energies are psychophysical qualities that can only be developed through the right progressions and exercises. They are not movements. It's also not about learning to apply these energies. If you work correctly on internal cultivation, the four energies will be present within you. They will be your psychophysical condition and not something to do or apply. During my seminars, I prefer letting people experience physically and practically what I'm talking about. The exercise of Qizao or Tuisho are the best tools to understand the concreteness of these energies. To best explain the theory of the energies, I will use a ball like this one. Let's say that the qualities of this ball are a good exemplification of the four energies. The state of Sung is the material that makes up this ball. Its structure is elastic and not rigid, but not too soft either. The properties of this material create the condition for Peng. Peng, which we could define as a multidirectional internal force. Peng and Sung are closely related. The more psychophysical tensions are reduced, the more this feeling of inner strength and expansion emerges. So, the more one refines the state of Sung, the more the pressure of Peng increases. In the case of this ball, we can consider a multidirectional expansion that starts from the center and, in a certain sense, shapes the sphere. From the center, there are many vectors that expand and reinforce the shape. At this point, we have our fundamental structure, a sphere with elastic properties. You need to have the quality of this ball first. All the other energies, all the other qualities come later. Without this, it's impossible to develop others. Without this sphere, it is impossible to think of developing the other energies, the other qualities. That's why you often hear that Peng is the basis of all the other energies. Now, let's imagine a force hurling against this ball. If the force doesn't intercept the center of the structure, the ball, by its nature, will rotate. The ball doesn't react voluntarily to the force. Its structure, its qualities, create a natural response. Therefore, we speak of Lü when a pressure doesn't intercept the center of the ball and the rotation of the ball dissipates the force into the emptiness. In fact, Lü is often translated as absorbing by rotating. But what happens when the pressure intercepts the center of the sphere? Well, thanks to its properties, the sphere absorbs the pressure and deforms. It's a bit like having a wall behind the ball that prevents it from rolling away. In this case, the wall is our spine. Once the force has been absorbed, the sphere gives back the same energy, regaining its original shape. So we can imagine an opponent putting pressure, having the impression of finding the center, but instead being bounced back by an elastic force. This bouncing elastic force can be called G, that is often translated as direct force or direct pressure. Regarding An, it can be defined as a variation of Lü. If the sphere receives a pressure below its center, it will guide the force towards the ground. In this case, the force will not fall into the emptiness, but will be crushed downwards. Also in this case, we have a rotation, but the force has no way to escape. The force will be directed towards the ground. To conclude, Sung represents the amount of tension in the structure. Peng is the internal force and expansion, while Lü, Ji, and An are spontaneous transformation of the structure in response to external stress. This sphere theory can be applied to the body as a whole or be applied to every single point of pressure that the body receives. In the second case, it is as if the whole body were composed of an endless number of small spheres. In the first stage, the concept of fullness and emptiness refers to the structure and the surrounding space. In time, by understanding the dynamics of fullness and emptiness inside the body, it will be possible to direct the external force also towards the internal emptiness or fullness of our body. In Tuisho and Qisao, it will be important to learn to change the position of the center, and in this way, by changing the center, it is possible to manipulate the energies. Depending on the position of the center, the different energies will manifest spontaneously.